Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham, live on a Thursday night, 9 o'clock for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. I probably sound a bit perkier than I am, battling a bit of cold. It's called at the moment here. And probably the less talking I do tonight, the better. But good to have you with us. Let's hope for a good betting weekend. So disappointing last weekend that the South African games here were cancelled. I can tell you many of us punters were lining up some big bets. But anyway, we've got local derbies this week. And let's get stuck into the action. I'm going to start off at the bottom of the screen with At the Crow Tips. Chris, good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, how you doing, Brent? Yeah, good to be back. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good, thanks. Very good, thanks. Sounds like, I don't know, I'm picking up a bit of interference on someone's line. So maybe just if I'm not talking to you, just mute. It's like almost like wind. It's almost like one of you sitting on a
I can also hear it.
It might even be on
my
side.
It's me.
We'll experiment. It could be your fancy new headphones, Brendan.
It might be.
Cool. There's Brendan O'Connell. Let's go straight to him. Brendan, first of all, excellent work last week on your blog for Hollywood Bets. 4 out of 4.
6 out of 6.
What am I saying? Jeez, sorry.
Yeah, sure. Trying to undermine me, eh? Yeah, I couldn't believe it. In fact, it was quite funny. I was 5 for 5 going into the Sunday afternoon, and I'd actually backed Sale plus 11.5 earlier in the week, and they'd actually shortened it to 9.5. And I actually thought I'd lost out on that one. And eventually, when I went back and had a look at it, it was one of those good moments when you realize, oh my God, I actually did get the 11.5. And it was a butchered game. I mean, oh God, Sale. I mean, the stupid red card when they had sort of Saracens under a little bit of pressure in the second half. But other than that, it was a good weekend. Sadly, I gave it all back on the horses, but at least I didn't do too much damage.
Well, that's what us punters do. And a late addition to the show, got a message from him just beforehand, which probably means he fancies some stuff quite strongly. He's just finished writing an exam today as well. It's Neil. Neil, good to have you on the show. Thoughts on sports?
No, thanks very much, Brent. It was a proper late message. I think it was 2 minutes before kickoff that I popped your message saying I'm in and available. But hoping to gift the boys some strong fancies. This is going to be a cracking weekend. I just sense it in the bones.
Oh,
excellent.
Good.
Well, I was going to say I'm very happy to hear that as well, because I've got one strong fancy in the local derby, but I don't really have much else to talk about. But let's get straight into the URC then and get into the first game. And it is the local derby on Friday night. Now, I've done the handicap a little bit differently because I had a quick look before the show. You can get the Sharks plus 2.5, and you can also get the Bulls plus 1.5, which is quite interesting. And Neil, I'll start with you on this one. Seems like there's been quite a bit of money for the Sharks because I think they opened plus 3.5.
Yeah, Brent, I'm going to open up with a very strong fancy here. I priced this game as a minus 2.5 in favor of the Sharks. When I saw it opened up as plus 2.5, I was all over that Sharks plus, took plus 2.5, took plus 1.5. Took Sharks board at 12 to 10. This is a phenomenal play in my opinion. I haven't seen. Have you seen what the best available line is? Because I'm still looking to take some more. I'm opening up my Friday night with probably one of my biggest bets of the weekend and definitely of the last month here. This is a cracking play. This bull side, I just can't see them being up to it. I can see that Jake's not taking this game too seriously. A couple of experimental selections that he's gone for. He's gone for David Creel at 13. Phenomenal player, great 15, but it's just that type of selection where I know that Jake is saying to the boys, look, have a crack, but this isn't a 5-point result for us. So the Sharks have stacked that pack, and they've got a couple of big names coming off the bench. They're gonna cover this cap quite comfortably. So start your Friday nights off, put money on the Sharks, and you'll wake up on Saturday morning with a big smile on your face.
Excellent. Well, welcome to all the boys in the live chat. I see a few of the regular guests like Brendan Vessels. Could he actually have some power? I saw on Twitter he's expecting 9 days of no power on Twitter. I think they said sorry for the inconvenience, and Brendan said on Twitter, he said it's not an inconvenience, it's a tragedy. 9 days without power. And I'd have to agree with him there as well. And also you can see Henrik there, Mark, and Dave in as well on Facebook. So yeah, welcome guys. Henrik saying he agrees. Sharks on the board at 7 to 10. A Christmas gift. Brendan O'Connell, is it a gift, the Sharks?
You know what?
You can get 13 to 10. I'm assuming they're just late in changing, but World Sports Betting have actually still got 13 to 10 Sharks. I'm assuming their traders may be having a bit of a late supper or something that's missed the move.
Wow. Yeah. I'm actually really sad because I've missed the move. I was really busy at work today, but just before the show, I had a quick pop up just to have a look at some of the sides and some of the teams that were playing this weekend. I haven't delved too much into the South African teams, but when initially I saw -1.5 the Sharks, and I thought, yeah, that seems like a good old play. To know that they were as big as +3.5 early in the week, oh man, I'm quite disappointed about that. I'm looking at sort of the UK market. They're sort of around 11 to 20 now on the outright market, the Sharks. So if anyone can get that 13 to 10, I would jump on as quickly as possible. And I agree. Yeah, I'm a little bit sad, obviously, because I've missed the good prices early on in the week. So I don't want to get too involved. But yeah, I think it's the right play. I think Sharks look tough to beat in that one.
I'm sure we got enough guys. I'm just having a look around at a few other bookies. I think it's only WSB that haven't moved. I probably haven't done them any favors by highlighting their price. I'd say probably gone by the end of the show for those guys who do have an account. Let's go down to Chris. Chris, what do you think of this one? Have your bookmakers over there priced up yet?
No, not yet, unfortunately. So yeah, but obviously first glance at the game and looking at the team sheets that have come out, I agree. The Sharks team looks very, very good. I think if you just look at obviously previous history between the two teams, yeah, Bulls at Loftus has given Sharks a good hiding previously, but in Durban, Sharks hold the Bulls generally most of the time. And if you want to go back to the previous meeting, which is that final where the Bulls absolutely killed the Sharks at Loftus, both teams have made massive changes, and it was back in September. Like I don't think you can use recency bias on this game as well, you know. So, like, if you look at the lineup now, this is close to the team that the Sharks were pretty much leading the Super Rugby tournament before COVID, right? So I think this is the first time we've probably seen this full strength side. So totally agree. This is not like, if you want to go confidence levels, it's not like the most confident because the Bulls are still the Bulls. But I totally agree with the guys at the handicap at 1 or 2. You have to be on the Sharks here for sure. Just interesting for weather as well, right? Because I haven't looked, but if Durban is humid and muggy, I think, you know, like I want to go back to the old strategy of the overs points for South African derbies. But we know what Durban can be like in summer, right? And if it gets sticky and muggy, and because these teams haven't played a lot, I wouldn't actually expect a lot of points, to be honest. But if I were going to pick a winner, I think the Sharks are primed. Yeah, when Sharks have this team on the field, they're good. So yeah, I'll lean on the Shark. That's not a confident I haven't bet yet because I can't. So I need to wait till what I'm offered. But in terms of the way the game's going to go, give me Sharks and probably unders. So like a 27-20 type of game. I don't know what the points. I don't know the point. Would be interested to see. I'm quite interested because I think the bookies might overcome. I'm hoping that the bookies come back to parity because when the South African is played, it went quite high, right? So I'm hoping the bookies kind of come back to what they think if they come around a lower mark. I'll think about the points, but I just because it's been a while that these teams have played, Durban and Maggie, it could end up being a scrappy affair and a lot of penalties.
Right, let's stay with you then for the next game. Chris, Edinburgh up against Benneton. Here we got Edinburgh, the home side, -11.5.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be honest, Brent, these type of fixtures are not my strength. Like when the markets come out on the Sharks and Bulls, I'd be more confident in what I end up going for. But I must say, I was pretty. I don't normally say it, but I was pretty impressed with Edinburgh last week against Newport. I mean, it's just so different watching Newport now at home with their artificial pitch, and it's just looks so different at Rodney Parade, you know. But Edinburgh were actually very, very impressive. So I'm not going to. I haven't looked at this. It's not a game at the moment that's betting for me. In terms of how it goes, no.
Right. Well, Brendan Vessels, aka the conductor, he's big on Edinburgh. Says a strong Edinburgh side versus an average Benetton side. Neil, anything for you on this one?
Yeah, Brent, I always sort of struggle with these fixtures, these sort of 9.5, 10.5 handicaps where you really have to pick a side. Yeah, Edinburgh definitely probably the way to go here. But is the motivation going to be there on a Friday night, sort of at the DAM Health Stadium? I don't know, against a Benneton side, who I like to think are quite plucky on the road. They often get given a bit of disrespect from the books, and there can often be some opportunities for the punters to make a bit of loot. But I'll probably look at this game, look at the points line, assess a bit of weather conditions. If I can get an Edinburgh points line, maybe at about 27.5, I'll look to rather take overs on that, rather than just back the minus. Edinburgh, yeah, their defense generally is quite good, but I feel like they are prone to slipping off a couple of tackles against sort of a travelling Benneton, where they maybe might be caught off guard, especially with the recruitment that Benneton have done. Rainer Smith at fullback, that definitely adds a bit of a spark there. And they got a Fijian on the wing, I just forget his name, who is quite a good finisher. So there's enough. I'm sorry, it's not talking about Monty Ioane. There's another bloke who just his name escapes me at the moment. So there's enough quality to finish out wide for Benneton. Rainer Smith at the back. If you've been watching the Cheetahs games, he does add a bit of quality there. So I'll take a step back from the handicap and hoping to get an Edinburgh point at about 28.5 with weather permitting.
Excellent. Well, let's go on to Brendan. Patches, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, it's a sort one I'd probably get too excited in. Edinburgh did the business last week against the Dragons, and they looked impressive as they did it. But Benneton actually haven't been too bad themselves, I think this handicap is well set around the 12-point mark. Like I say, it sort of languishes in that area where Edinburgh could be leading by 16 or 17 and Benneton score a late try and you do your loot. If anything, I probably would lean towards Edinburgh on the minus, but only marginally, but I'm not going to get too involved in this game.
Alex coming in saying he's Edinburgh, a big first half team, so he's looking for a first half handicap. Brendan, let's stay with you. We'll go on to the next game. And for those who missed the start of the show, I'm a bit under the weather at the moment, so I'm every now and again muting myself to cough. Hopefully I will remember to mute all the time, otherwise. Anyway, but let's go to this game, Brendan. Leinster up against Connacht. Now, I'm assuming a lot of the internationals are back looking at this handicap, because I was super impressed with Connacht last week and not very impressed with Leinster at all.
Yeah, I actually had a nice bet on Ulster on the plus, and they ended up winning the game. I couldn't believe it. But the overall commitment shown by the Ulster players was pretty impressive. And it just kind of appeared that Leinster didn't have any answers to the sort of in-your-face kind of defense. And also the fact, I think, that Ulster just didn't show them any kind of respect. It was actually really nice to see. So, yeah, Ulster, I'm very impressed by them last week. Leinster, yeah, they have been a bit of a funny team the last couple of months. Internationals are all back. Connacht then, playing well last weekend as well. When they dispatched the Ospreys, I mean, the Ospreys were extremely poor, but Connacht got the complete run of play throughout the game and never looked in doubt. I think even when they were playing into the wind, they even looked better than Ospreys did with the wind later on in the match. It's again like Connacht. What Connacht is going to rock up? I think what is probably the most important thing, though, to remind yourself about is that it is an Irish derby once again, just as it proved last week that Ulster beat Leinster. Leinster obviously want to come out firing. Do they have that confidence? Connacht will be bubbling. Connacht can be so inconsistent. But I think with a handicap as large as this, I'd probably have a bet on Connacht to finish within the cap.
Connacht on the plus there. Just bringing out, I didn't realize the total points line. Just to mention to the guys watching, total points the Edinburgh Benneton game is 41.5. So, Neil, in fact, I just want to quickly look at what that relates to. Probably your 26.5, whatever what you were saying there. Edinburgh total 25.5, Neil, for Edinburgh. So I think that could be a nice overs play there. Chris, let's go to you then for this game, Leinster against Connacht, 16.5 and total points 47.5.
47, yeah. I think this cap is too high. Just purely if you want to go again on last week, if you want to go on recency bias, but I think the Leinster are so weird. Like every time I think of Leinster, I think they need to be winning by 20 points against every team in this league. Like honestly, I don't think we should be surprised that Ulster arrived. I don't think we should also be surprised that Connacht played well against Ospreys. I mean, I've never rated Ospreys as well, and Connacht can have those games. Do I trust Connacht to go to Leinster and do it again? Absolutely not. Do I probably back Leinster to come out strong? Yes. 17 points though on a Friday night in Ireland in an Irish derby. That's a lot of points. Like I'm just the way normally. I think I would normally take those points. Thank you very much. But obviously, I'm quite nervous about Leinster. But if I'm going to take the handicap, I'll be on a plus to Connacht. But I do like the points here. I think there will be points here. I think that was a 47. You said, Brent?
47.5.
Yeah, I'm confident that's an overs play right there.
Overs play for Chris. Henrik just saying he wants to take Leinster on. They're not the same team of previous seasons. I have to agree with Henrik there. The thing about Leinster which makes them tricky is when they do turn it on, they really can still turn it on, and they're excellent. But they're certainly not as consistent, I don't think, as they have been in previous seasons. Neil, this one for you?
Yeah, Brent, tricky one. I love betting on Connacht just because I feel like they're always underrated by the books. Playing at home, they aren't even often favourites, so you can always get a generous plus from them at home, which is ridiculous. In the Pro 14, playing away against Irish opposition, they're always underdogs and big underdogs. You can often get double-digit head starts when they play the likes of Ulster and Leinster. In this is the case, and even as Jake White said in that interview that they don't have the big names, but I'm very, very thankful for that. I just get a couple of extra points on every handicap that comes about. But this handicap 16.5, I understand the value in the market. I understand why it's priced as is. Leinster between 11 and 15, so 11 and both wings, the fullback and the centre. That's the full Irish team. They got nearly a full back row of Irish starters, except Rhys Ruddock, who has, I think he was captain about 2017. I'm a big fan of him. He's sort of that no-nonsense Dave Ewers type ball carrier for Leinster. That's who he reminds me of. But at the RDS, it is tricky to go with the Leinster plus. And I think I'm going to go for a bit of a left field call and actually follow the Crow tips here on a total points overs, because I can see Connacht if weather is good. I haven't checked it at all, so disclosure ahead. If it's not good, pull the plug. But if weather looks decent, it's a fantastic turf at the RDS, very fast pitch. You're getting 46.5 for Connacht. They are a team who can score a lot of points. And I know Leinster are going to come out firing, and they are going to knock up a couple of points themselves. So if weather conditions good, I think you can probably shop around and get a 46.5. And I think that is a play worthwhile if you are staying clear of this handicap.
Yeah. Better play
right, yeah, bet that appeals to me as well. I always find a few points normally in Leinster games. Let's go on to the next game then, Neil, and we'll stay with you. Ospreys plus 6.5 against Ulster.
Sure. Challenging one, Brent, purely on team news. I don't know the Ospreys injury list. Last time I checked, they had a couple of big names out. I don't know the fitness of Gareth Anscombe, and for me that is a big determinant of where my money goes. And then again, I'd also like to know sort of the cattle in the Ospreys pack. If Ospreys go full strength here, I'm more than happy to take this plus. But then again, yeah, I'm just totally out of the loop with injuries at the moment. So it is one to sort of tread carefully and keep your eye out on the 2 p.m. South African time team news tomorrow.
Right, Henrik's just making mention of the fact that he does follow coaches more than teams. I know Henrik, that stood him in good stead over the years. Brendan, let's go to you then. Ospreys, did I hear you say that you like Ulster game this week?
No.
Oh.
Believe it or not. No, I'm certainly impressed by them last week. I mean, they were absolutely terrific against Leinster. But this is a game, that I keep coming back to, and it's one of those ones, where the feel starts beginning to grow in your stomach, And I really like Ospreys in this one. Like Neil mentioned, though, team news is going to be vitally important, just to at least cement my view that I'm taking. But I'm thinking of a little bit of an upset here. I don't think Ospreys can win it, but I won't rule it out. but I really like them on the plus on the handicap quite strongly. Yeah, there are a couple of players which I just want to confirm that might be playing, and then I'll wait until tomorrow. But funny enough, this is one of those games that I just have the sneaky feeling that Ospreys are going to wake up for this one, and they'll go close here.
Well, your sneaky feelings have been doing pretty well so far. Chris, any sneaky feelings for you on this one?
My sneaky feelings is that the cap is too high. Not again, Ulster away, also very good at home. The last time they played, I think they were, if I remember, well, they're not a big. When these two play, I'm not sure there's a lot of points. So because I like the points market, but I think Ospreys at home at the moment in this spot, which I like to talk about where these teams are. 7 is a lot of points. I don't know if Ospreys are going to win, but 7 is quite a lot. So I wouldn't be on an Ulster minus for this game.
I will stick with you for the next game, and we're on to a local derby, and I've done the same thing here. I've put the 2 lines in there. Although it looks like I said plus minus 9.5 for Stormers.
Yeah.
I think it could be a similar situation. WSP have still got 12.5 for lines. I know a lot of guys who've taken the plus 12.5, Chris, and I see the line, there's 10.5, there's 9.5. It seems like this game's going to start about 9.5, 10.5 Stormers.
Okay, as I said, I don't go to South African sites. Maybe I should before the show. But 12 points. If Lions are playing their full strength side, which I assume they are, right? Then this is not a 12-point game. I don't know how. I don't see how that works because I think the Stormers are going to read some box. I mean, Ori and Murat are playing, but if Lions are full strength after what's happened lately, this no. But I'm surprised by that. I kept it less than 5, so I'll be plus all day. If I get plus 12, I'm on plus 12. That's a big bet.
I think it looks like World Sports Betting could be the last left with that. But there's 10.5, I guess, 9.5. Neil, is this a strong one for you? Look at Brendan Wessels there. He's all over the Lions.
Yeah, Brent. So this was my second biggest bet of the weekend. Actually on par with the Sharks bet. When these 2 SA caps went out, I had a little smoke to myself, but kept that rather quiet and just made sure I got my bets down before any bookmakers heard my distant laughters rippling throughout the Western Cape here. 12 points, yeah, that's a ridiculous handicap.
The first time I heard it, I'm falling off my chair, so I agree with you.
Yeah, no, it's a ridiculous handicap to get for a local derby. We know the Stormers. We know Stormers and minuses. We've spoken about this profusely on the show. They don't enjoy minuses. Stormers have a fantastic set piece. However, a couple of players ruled out. They don't have Bongi and Mbadambi anymore. He's obviously plying his trade up at the Shark Tank. Stephen Kitsoff's being rested this week. Yes, they have Marvin Ori and Murat in the second row. Two decent players. But once again, they aren't world class yet. They're not in the position of the Itojes and the Etzebeths and the Diachas of the world where they're going to influence games. They're a nice to have sort of addition. Stefan Unger at 9, he's a good player. I like him. But then at 10, the Stormers are massively still unsettled. Are they going to go with Swill? Are they going to go with Willemse? There's Abner van Reenen. There's newcomer Sasha Ngomazulu, who I rate quite highly, still coming up and through the ranks. So I do expect the Stormers aren't a settled unit. Yes, they've got a bit of danger out wide, but I look at this Lions side, and apart from Zylinger, this is a quality outfit. They've got Similani, who yes can be very questionable on defense, but at the end of the day, this game will get treated similar to a Super Rugby type fixture where defense isn't always the name of the game. So Birgit Oudendal and Similani in the centers, I'm more than happy with that as a Lions backer. Edwin van der Merwe out wide, back to his home ground. He's going to have a point to prove. I'm a huge fan. Yvel Fuan at the back, probably not my favorite player, but that's fine. He's good enough to do the job. So this Lions pack, more than enough quality for me. 12.5 double digits, load up, because this will be into a 7-8 points game by kickoff.
The Lions could even win easily.
Confident calls from both of the lads there. Brendan, you'll be a brave man to go against the boys, yeah?
Yeah, I would, and I won't. And it's funny, it's a game I didn't really have much of an opinion on early on, basically because they hadn't priced up in the UK, and so I didn't get too excited about it. So that was the first part. But I certainly would be looking at an unders play in a game like this. It is played at Newlands still, right? This match, and if it is, then
want to ask, what happened in there? I actually wanted to ask that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Cape Town Stadium.
Is it Cape Town Stadium?
Is it official now? That's done. We're done with Newlands, yeah. Not that even
After 15 farewell games.
Oh, damn it. Okay, well, that throws a bit of a spanner then, because I certainly, if it had been at Newlands, I was all on the unders, that's for sure. Yeah, Cape Town Stadium, yeah, it's burnt me a couple of times. It certainly looked like it won't be a happy hunting ground like old Newlands was on the unders. So, yeah, I'll still have a look anyway, just to see what sort of level of points. I mean, I was quite happy to take an under 46.5 at Newlands quite comfortably. You've got to add at least 5 or 6 points, I would say, for the Cape Town Stadium. I think the weather's okay. There might be a few showers early in the morning, but other than that, I'll just be hopping on the Lions train with the rest of the gang. I think. I just hope though that I might get a double digit when they open up in the UK either tonight or tomorrow morning. But it's probably unlikely.
You're going to get 7 as well.
Boys. What is interesting though, just looking in the live chat, we're not totally unanimous on this game. Shark Brain saying Gallant and Evan Roos, and then this is the one that's interesting. Henrik Swart all over the Stormers minus. So very interesting.
Baby.
So,
wow.
Everyone. But we don't know how many brandies he's had tonight, So
that's true.
Okay, that's interesting, Henrik. Probably, I guess, in Henrik's case and probably Shark Brain, you probably want to wait, because I agree with Neil there. I think the line will probably come in further. So if you are going to back the minus, you may as well wait and try and take a bit of, say, the minus 7.5 or something along those lines.
That's what I'm saying. I think we're going to get like 8.
Just one comment.
Go for it.
One comment on my side. I know Henrik is one of the punters I definitely respect the most out there, and he always likes to say that he's a coach punter, and I know he doesn't have a strong affinity towards John Dobson, so that comment really surprises me. That he was quite quick to blindly jump onto a Stormers minus. So he must know something and I don't. Maybe he was there on Thursday morning sniffing out the Cape Town Stadium pitch. I don't know, Henrik. Please do tell us something.
Excellent. We'll see what Henrik comes back with. Brendan, we'll move on to the next game. Now, it's the last of the URC matches. Glasgow minus 9.5 against the Dragons.
Oh, Dragons. I mean, whenever that name appears, they're just a horrendous side. You either go for them and they crucify you, and then the next, it's a case of just trying to work them out, but you can't even do that much. It's probably going to be a no bet from me. If I had to, I'd lean towards a Glasgow minus, but just neither of these two sides can be so inconsistent at times that it's probably not worth a bet. I'm probably going to have like a look at a points bet in the game. I'll have a look at the weather closer to the time. The UK is not too bad this weekend. There's a few showers here and there. It's obviously quite cold, but that's about the worst of it. Glasgow, it's going to be a plastic pitch as well. So probably looking at a points line there maybe going under and hoping like the Dragons don't score too many and something like that. But it's handicap wise, wouldn't touch it.
Right, Chris, anything for you on this game? Anything strong?
Yeah, nah, not really. But just looking at it straight out, Dragons, I agree. Like never. Oh, you've lost Brent.
Yeah.
No,
don't worry, I just took myself off.
So I'm going to be very honest. Before the URC and South African interest came in, I was never a big better on the Pro 14 or 12. I never was. I'm just being honest. It was not I would follow it and watch it, but betting wise, no. But obviously, I am now following it because of the South African interest. So I have been invested and been burned bloody hard. Thanks for that. But in terms of this matchup, I agree. I mean, I'm happy to maybe entertain the Dragons at home. Last week Glasgow played Benneton, right? I think it was, and typical shit. No, it's shit. Yeah, Glasgow at home though. Yeah, Glasgow at home is a different story. So I think we have to go weather depending. I am looking at this because I do like Glasgow for a big performance. The cap is probably well set, but I'm loving this if Glasgow's around 25 points. I think Glasgow I like the Glasgow on the point there. I'm not sure about the cap because Newport have showed that they can play a little bit this season, but Glasgow at home are a much better side, and they I always like to think about it as a rugby player. If I was a rugby player, I would still be embarrassed about my performance last week in I can't remember several where I watched whatever it was. I don't always follow it, but for me they're going to be I think there's a bounce back here, and against Dragons I don't know what the points are going to be, but if you get 24, 25, go for it. I think this is like 30 Glasgow. For me, this is over 30 points for Glasgow.
Right, Neil, bring us home on the URC.
Yeah, Brent, tricky one. It's just one of those, I've mentioned it earlier in the show, just those 9.5, 10-point handicap, exceptionally tough to call without sort of an insight into how team news goes. I was one of those who was quite strong on the Dragons at home last weekend, and I stand by my bets. If it wasn't for 10 Basham going off injured in the first minute, I do believe that they would have gone on to win the game had they not had that. They are a strong side at home. This game obviously getting played in Glasgow, but 10.5 handicap in the Pro 14. Let's not fool ourselves. Dragons probably won't win this game, but Glasgow ain't no minus backers either. So I'll definitely have a flutter on the Dragons plus if team news is according. I wouldn't rush to take an unders because you're not going to get your 46.5 line that's one is hoping for here. It'll come out at about 42, 43.5. I also see it's a night fixture. So I think especially with that in mind, night fixture, double-digit head start in the Pro 14. URC, Dragons getting quite embarrassed at home. A couple of injury concerns, but yeah, I'm quite happy to take a Dragons plus. Yeah, I think they'll cover this.
I'm just on mute there. We'll stay with you, Neil, for the Gallagher Premiership. And the first game that I've got here is obviously Friday night, Gloucester minus 2.5 against Bristol. And we got a points line here of 46.5.
Oh, strap in, gents. This is obviously where I sort of come alive. Love the Gallagher. Big competition for me, both in terms of money making and watching. Gallagher, this is probably a big surprise. Handicap came in a couple of points just due to a bit of Bristol team announcement, but Stephen Luatua back in the Bears side. Semi Randrandra set to make his first appearance, and I think it's about 3 months for Bristol, so that's a huge boost for them. They've been absolutely nowhere without him, and then Harry Randall back for the Bears at 9. But this Gloucester side was more than I was probably over the moon when I saw that the team Bristol announced. And if you do follow me on Twitter and know anything about me, I'm a big Bristol Bears fan. I've been to Ashton Gate, so yeah, it holds a special place in my heart there. But I'm getting a close to a 7 to 10 for Gloucester at home in cold conditions. Doesn't suit Bears' style of play. Gloucester have a big back row. Ben Morgan, 125 kilograms, carrying hard. Rowan Ackerman is going to do the dirty work. Lewis Ludlam, yeah, big fan of him. So, and two pretty strong centers in Atkinson and Chris Harris, with obviously a bit of pace out wide in Johnny Mann, Louis Salmon. So you're getting a home side in the gap. Again, 7 to 10. You've got to snap that up, in my opinion. So Gloucester on the board is my pick here.
Excellent. Yeah, we're looking around. There is still some 7 to 10 available. I see 0.72 at player bets there. I see as short as 5 to 10 elsewhere. So you probably want to get on that one quickly. Brendan, this game for you, Friday nights. We used to hate them, you and me. It used to be Friday nights in Kimberley. We always used to do our money. What's going to happen in this one?
Yeah, agreed totally. I like Gloucester here quite strongly. Initially, I was expecting a handicap of between 4 and 6 points on the Bristol plus, but obviously they are receiving back a number of players, 5 or 6 players probably, back into the side. Gloucester I've been really impressed with. They're one of the form sides at the moment. They're playing terrific rugby. They're also getting a couple of players back as well. I managed to get -1.5 at 9 to 10, and I managed to get some 8 to 10 outright. And I'm very happy with that so far. I see one of the guys mentioned an unders in the game. Yeah, possibly. I can't remember who the referee is. I had a look earlier. I think it's Christopher Redley. I think it's him. Yeah, and yeah, he's sort of like an average kind of ref. So yeah, I wouldn't scare off anyone going in the unders there. I think the weather might be okay. There might be a bit of sprinkling of rain, but other than that, I don't think anything more than that. But yeah, Friday night game, Gloucester at home, Bristol still finding their way. Yeah, I'm quite confident in this one.
Right, I'm just having a bit of a chuckle. A couple of the guys saying one of us is breathing very heavily. It could well be me. I can tell you. I walked from the couch to the chair here, and I started huffing and puffing at the moment. Chris, I don't think we got your opinion on this game yet.
No, I'm probably a little bit against the grain here. Just purely just on my views here. I think Bristol are going to come have a big game. I agree that Gloucester and Leicester compared to last season have been super impressive. And then I look at the Gloucester Exeter game, which burned me a few weeks ago. Looks like a similar affair. I just still think that Bristol have been underachieving and Gloucester have been overachieving. And I think this is an opportunity for Bristol to put the right. It's going to be a cracking game. I know for sure. So I'm not going to get involved in the handicap because it's, again, a very tight one. I'm going to say I believe Bristol are going to win this game. My call. But I do like the unders because also Gloucester have shown that they like last season with COVID and the weird season we had, the defenses were nowhere. But Gloucester have been like pretty good. So, but this is just purely a rugby call. I just think that Bristol they need to arrive. They have to arrive. Close game. I think Bristol win. I like the unders. That's an extended unders play for me. I think I'll look at that in my doubles and trebles.
Right, Chris, we'll stay with you there. Worcester up against Wasps, and here we got the Worcester Warriors +1.5.
Yeah, I don't know if Brendan Vessels is listening, but there's 3 things I love in life. It's Britney Spears, it's the dimples above a woman's butt, and it's opposing Worcester. So no, like Worcester have been like, yeah, even though, to be honest, I'm waiting for Worcester to arrive. I've been waiting 10 years, so I'm going to still wait for that. I know they've made changes. Brent, I actually did follow just the weekend I had one of these, like I have to just follow when they came right. Who was it against? I can't remember when they came good. Also last week, that 10-point difference, Worcester and Newcastle are not 10 points difference teams any day of the week. That was very, very wrong. So I was expecting Worcester, but I think Worcester on the upward trend. Thing is, Wasps could be anything. So I think if I remember, I quite like points in this game, but it's been a low-scoring affair in previous games. Naturally, I want to look at the points and the overs, but I'm a little bit hesitant. But I'm not going to go on the cap. It's very well. I think it's very close, right? I don't know if you put it up. I think it's close to 1 or 2, which is very good. So I'm not going to get involved because I think Worcester are potentially on the up, and Wasps literally can be anything. Wasps can win this by 20 or lose this by 10, so I won't get involved there. So this is a very iffy game for me. Right,
Neil, this one for you.
Yeah, I'll add a fourth thing that I love in this world, and that's opposing Chris Rowe on a Worcester Warriors handicap. Yeah, I'm quite strong on the Warriors here. I think that if Chris has been opposing the Warriors for the last 3 months, he's been a very poor man. So Warriors is the place to be this weekend. I took quite a big swing at +2.5, and Warriors board at 14 to 10. They're one of those sides which I absolutely love backing because they've got all the right structures, and they're slowly getting that structure of coaching in. They've got Chris Boyd in. He's a no nonsense player. I mentioned to the conductor midweek last week when they got him in traveling to Newcastle, I was getting a handicap of 10.5 with Chris Boyd going to the snow. I said that was an absolute gift. This man lives in the snow in shorts and slops. So Chris Boyd in the Warriors, he's a no-nonsense type coach. He grinds out results. He turns attitudes of players around. This Worcester Warriors side has enough quality. They've got Duan there, Ollie Lawrence and Francois Fenter in the centres. You've got Sutherland and Baldwin, 2 international quality players in the front row. My only concern about Warriors, which I've said quite a few times previously, is their second row. I'm not a big fan of Kirshner in the second row. He just doesn't add enough brunt to me. But Ted Hill, the captain, 22 years young, leading sort of the Warriors into that new dimension. Back at 6 ways, he's a fantastic player. They got Vayanu, the Tongan, back at 8. This is a quality player for me. Take Worcester Warriors plus 2.5. If you can't get that, don't worry. Take them on the board. They'll romp home to a big win at 6 ways here.
Right. Well, let's let Brendan split the pair for us there, Brendan. We got 2 different opinions. I'm thinking you go in Warriors.
No, believe it or not, in my little bloggy thing, I actually said it's a no bet for me. But if I had to have a bet in the game, I would probably marginally go for Wasps. But I'll tell you why. A good performance last weekend. Also, I jumped onto that Warriors plus away at Newcastle. That was great value. They escaped with a 24-all draw. It was decent. Like Neil says, I mean, they've got the players. It's just a little bit of structure, and I know there has been some management changes this week. It might take a little bit of time, possibly, to filter down and into the team and into the players. Now they're back at home. Surely, big performance. I think a lot for me, though, it just depends on what Wasps side is named and what players they have available. I'm sort of leaning towards a Wasps because if they do have a few players coming back that I have in mind, then I probably will go for Wasps. But it's not a game I will get too involved. I've got a couple of other ones later on that I'm much more confident on. But for now, no bet. Wait for the team sheets. And then maybe have a bet. The other horrible thing, especially in the UK, man, is that so many of these games aren't even televised, and it's awful because there's nothing worse than being involved in a game and there's no way you can sort of influence it from your couch. That is one of the sort of the drawbacks, I think. And this will be one of those games we won't be able to see it.
Brendan, I'm shocked. The last 2 shows I've been on with you, with the confidence, I'm disappointed, mate. Especially after Neil put the stamp on that.
But Brendan, let's stick with you for the next game. Saints minus 9.5 against Bath.
This doesn't feature in any of my top 3 bets. Bath, oh man, what are they winless? It's 8 or 9 matches now. 8 matches, I think. This will be the 9th, and they're going to Northampton, who came back to form in an uncertain manner last week. Saints looked great. Watched the highlights of that game. Bath put up a little bit of a fight. Who did they play last week? Where I had someone else up here. Bath fought early on. Was that against Saracens? No, it wasn't Saracens.
It was a big handicap. I know that Bath nearly won the game, but I can't remember who it was.
Yes.
Last week,
it was Exeter. That's right. They were playing at home. Yeah, and they were right into the game. And of course, Exeter to really dig deep to sort of win the game late. Yeah. Man, Carl Dixon is the ref. There could be a little bit of rain in this game. So that's also a factor, which I think will help Bath. For me, it is a small bet on the Bath plus 10.5 points, if I can get it still. I just think they are improving. They're improving slowly. Saints have been, they started off the season tremendously well. They went through a bit of a lull period, and then they bounced back last week. So for me, Bath on the plus is probably where I'm going to go. I'm going to have a good look at the weather as well. But I just wouldn't take the Saints on the minus just yet. But Bath on the plus. But it's a very small bet for me.
I was going to say, Brendan, you'd strike me as anything but confident of this game.
Yeah, as you can tell. Yeah, I mean, Bath.
Let's go to Chris and see if he's got a firmer view on this one, Chris.
Yeah, I've got a firmer view, and you might call me crazy, but I'm very confident on Bath plus 10. Yes, they've been bad, and they've been woeful. But if you still look at their squad, they got good players, and I still back that. I don't like to look at that cup competition where they also got a bit of a hide in. But when I look at them against Exeter, that had their big guns back, they had Hogg back, they had Slade back, they had Simmons back. Their defense, the attitude in defense was back there, like Brendan was saying, they competed. They were in that game right to the end. Yeah, I like Saints. One of the teams I've backed early doors to do well. This is it's a derby game. Like Bath have had a good record in this game. I know that they're not on good form, but I think they're going to take a lot from that Exeter game, and they're going to rock up that Franklin's Garden, and they're going to give Saints a big game. 10 points is way high. This is one of my biggest confident bets of the weekend. Bath plus 10. Nice
confident selection from Chris there. Neil, interested in your thoughts on this one then? I've got a feeling, my hunch is that you're going to go against Chris here.
No, 2021 is a strange time. I'm quite strong on Chris's fancy there. That's a cracking call from him. Yeah, no, 2021 seen it all. This Bath Plus is an absolutely cracking play. You're getting a back row of Miles Reid, superb over the ball. Really fantastic jackler.
Is he back though? He was injured, right? Is he back though? Neil?
Yeah, I think he is fit. I think he is fit and available. And then you got Sam Underhill and Josh Bayless. That's a near all international back row. Will Stewart, Tom Dunn, Charlie Yules in the back row. Ben Spencer back at 9 for Bath. He makes a massive difference. He's at least a 2-3 point kind of player on the handicap for me, just the way he commands the troops around the park. He also just sort of gives them the forwards a nice slap on the backside when they need to pick up their boots a little bit. And Bath are just really on the up, and I'm big competitive. That when you're getting these big handicaps for good sides with good players, they tend to cover them. And with Bath last weekend, they covered a 7-point spread against sort of the perennial winners in Exeter in a cold day where forwards are expected to dominate. So I'm getting a 10-point head start. Yes, Saints have been playing fantastic rugby. George Furbank at the back, he's been good. Courtney Law's really dominating that set piece bigger at 10. But at the Gardens in sort of winter conditions, if this was a 4:00 Sunday kickoff, I'd be slightly cautious. I'm getting a big head start in a nighttime fixture, and I'm all over this Bath Plus. This is an absolutely cracking player from me.
Right, Neil, we're going to stick with you for the next game. I've seen Exeter -1.5 against Saracens and +1.5. I did have a tweet that the Saracens, I think, perhaps started -3.5 favourites, and Exeter being backed in here. Did you get on the anything early there?
Yeah, Brent. Initially, when this came out, it was always one of those fixtures where you knew the handicap would be in the 3-point region, 3 points or less for either side. Obviously, I expected Saracens to probably be slight favourites just as team news went, and it was one of those where in years gone by I would have jumped on this Exeter plus, but this is the type of fixture where I feel like Saracens are just playing fantastic rugby. They're going to Chiefs. Sandy Park isn't the fortress that it's been. The Chiefs have struggled. Yes, they're going to name a fantastic starting 15, but a couple of those players coming back, they don't have the minutes under the belt. The bench will look strong, but once again, there's a couple of players struggling for minutes, and this Lazowski pulling the strings. He's playing absolutely phenomenal rugby. He doesn't need to be breaking the line at every opportunity, but he's just marshalling the Saracens side superbly well. And Saracens are going to Sandy Park, and they're going to be going for the full juggernaut here. So I'm going to take on the books here and go for an underdog victory and take Saracens to win away at Sandy Park.
Right, a Saracens victory there. We're going to go to Brendan now. Just a comment quickly before I go to Brendan. I see the guys complaining that, like what Brendan said, you don't get a lot of live games, and I see 4 games all kicking off at 5 o'clock on a Saturday. Brendan, that's crazy, man. I mean, they should split them out a bit.
Isn't it mad, eh?
Why is
Yeah. I've never really worked it out. I'm sure someone has some plan or there's some reason for it that they're all kicking off at the same time. I mean, instead of just staggered throughout the afternoon. Just can't work it out, eh? I presume in the UK as well.
Football blackouts. I reckon they don't want eyes away from football. I reckon
that's the thing, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? My best bet of the weekend. Best bet. Saracens on +1.5. I cannot believe it. I'm jumping all over it. It's my absolute best. Just to see Saris on the plus anyway, is something. And the more and more I look at this game, and I totally agree, Sandy Park no longer that fortress. They've lost twice this weekend, this season to London Irish and to Newcastle of all teams. Saris are going to be up for this, man, and this is my best bet of the weekend. Saris +1.5. I'm putting the fire, the petrol, everything on this one.
Nice, confident call. I popped off there for a second, but I did hear that it was your best bet. We'll also discuss that further at the end of the show. Let's get Chris's opinion before we move on to the last 2 games.
I'll mirror all of that. I agree. When I saw these lines, for me, Saracens are the favourites. If you want to go back a couple of weeks, Saracens are the favourites. Yeah, maybe last year, like Neil was saying, this game was a tight game. You'll back the home team, but there's no reason why you're going to think Exeter are going to come up and beat the Saracens team at the moment. If you do, great. If they do, well done. Welcome back, Exeter. And you'll be a ballsy man to back that. But Exeter have shown nothing to show that they're going to beat Saracens on the weekend, even at home, at this point in time, at this spot, right? I'm not my most confident, but I call Saracens to win.
Yeah, certainly interesting. It's like interesting. What's interesting to me is there seems to be money for Exeter, but everyone seems to agree on Saracens here, which is always quite interesting. Let's move on to the next game, Chris. 2 to go. London Irish -4.5 against the Newcastle Falcons.
Yeah, this is one of these games. 2 teams. When I look at, I don't normally have a big opinion. Irish have completely. I'll admit, Irish have surprised me. They've been. I don't know if they are overachieving. Maybe they are. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and I always like kind of put Irish and Worcester in the same camp. Like they can do it. They got the players, the coach. Like they should do it, and they don't. Sorry, Neil, I'm still waiting for Worcester to show me, but London Irish have showed me that they can do it now. And Newcastle. I know I'm not a big Newcastle fan. So for me, this is an Irish play all the way. Because it's quite early in the season, these teams could even themselves out. But if I'm going to go back and look at these teams and the season they've had, Irish should win by 10, 15 easily. I would never normally say that for the last 5 years, but actually this weekend, go Irish. I think they'll put Newcastle away easily.
Wager Warlock just pointing out that World Sports Betting have shortened their price quite dramatically on the Sharks during the show. I'm guessing there were quite a few guys taking bets there. Neil, this one, are you going to be with Chris again on the London Irish?
No, Brent, I'm happy to oppose Chris here. A big swing at it opened at Newcastle +7.5. I had a big swing, to put it lightly, at the Newcastle plus here. This was a cracking price, in my opinion. London Irish is just one of those sides. I always like to back them as the dogs, but at home with a minus, geez, you're a brave man to take London Irish on any single minus that's available. They can cover a 15-point cap and win the game away at Sandy Park, but they will struggle to beat this minus at home at Brentford Community. So yeah, Newcastle +6.5. I'm hoping for some cold weather that'll warm up the Newcastle boys. They love a dogfight. They're going to be up for this game, especially after dropping some points at home against Newcastle. So if you can, I'm pretty sure that 6.5, even 7.5 is still available. So this is an absolutely cracking play, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just looking at, I think I got that off Player Bet 4.5. I see 6.5 at Sunbet. There are bigger handicaps available there for sure. Brendan, let's go to you on this one.
Yeah, there's 6.5 still here in the UK with Newcastle. Yeah, so it's split, 1-1 down the middle. First of all, you just got to understand that I've gone for London Irish a couple of times this season. Sometimes they've helped. I think one of my biggest losses was against Exeter. Oh man, I thought they were going to get absolutely trashed at Sandy Park. Anyway, they turned around a 30-point handicap swing, whatever it was. It was, the difference between the two. Yeah, I'm just waiting a few more moments before I just divulge my fancy in this game. But basically, I mean, the Exiles, they've had 3 high-scoring draws. They haven't won a game yet at home, Brentford. They've beaten 2 of the hot shots. They beat Exeter away and they beat Harlequins away. But yeah, I think Newcastle on the plus. It's quite a strong fancy here for me as well. London Irish remind me a little bit of the Pumas. All of a sudden the Pumas become favourites, and now you're expecting them to start a game as a 7-point favourite. I just have a feeling that this London Irish side, they've been bumbling along. They've got, they've got some good talent in that squad, but I don't know. They're their own worst enemies, and I'm trying to find a way, or at least I'm trying to see which way they're going to mess this game up, because I do agree with Chris that they have the ability to win it and to win it well, but I just have the feeling that they're their own worst enemies and they're gonna bumble this. And I've got a feeling that they might still remain winless after this weekend, and Newcastle could steal a little a win there at Brentford Community Stadium. They love
to kill it at home, but perform it was bizarre.
They're one of those weird teams, and I think Newcastle have shown that they can be a real nuisance. And I think they also went away and they beat Exeter, and I think they beat Bath early on in the season. And I think they're the kind of team that last season I think they had the worst away record ever, but they've won 2 out of 4 so far this time around. And I quite like the Newcastle. Yeah.
Shark brain coming in. These 2 teams can play without my money. It sounds a bit like Oracle Rugby. It's disappeared off all social media, all WhatsApp and that at the moment. He's absolutely disappeared as an Oracle. Yes, he's disappeared. But Brendan, let's stay with you for the last game. Leicester minus 5.5 against the Harlequins.
Wow. Yeah, great game. Hey, Sunday. At least that'll be on the telly. So I'll be looking forward to that one. What were my initial thoughts on this one? Leicester coming off a bye, unbeaten this season, tremendous. What a squad. They seem to have every aspect of play covered really well. Tremendous. And it's great to see, because they've been in the doldrums for way too many years, and it's wonderful to see them playing so well. That's for sure. Harlequins, not quite as good this season as they have been, a little bit inconsistent, but obviously, with the internationals, it's obviously played a major part in, team selections, certainly with Marcus Smith and Dom Brunt and a couple of other guys. So much will depend to see who is playing on Sunday for the Quins. If Marcus Smith and Dom Brunt are in the starting 15, I'm on Harlequins plus 5.5 without a doubt. Just because I think it could be very, very close, and also Leicester coming off a bye. Another bet that has me interested in this game possibly is Harlequins quite often can be a very strong second half side. So I'm looking at a Leicester Harlequins double play for the game as well. I haven't seen a price yet, but it'd probably be around the 6-7-1 mark, the general sort of trend. So yeah, a lot will depend on team selections for this game. I'm waiting for that. Marcus Smith, if he starts at 10, I'm on the plus 5.5.
Right, let's get Chris's view on this one. I did see Sharkbrain say Harlequins on the minus, which it had me looking at the odds again. So he obviously fancies him to win outright. But here we got Leicester minus 5.5 there, Chris.
Yeah. So Shadow and Brendan there, I totally agree. What exactly what Brendan just said there. I think team news is big. if Marcus Smith and the English contingent are back, even though Leicester have had a great team, Quins have just proven too much over the last couple like last year that this is 5 points is a big margin, even for Leicester. Like I think, we all know Leicester have come around and they're playing great and I respect them for that. I love it. We always seen Pollard's go in there, but for me, 5 points still at this stage. Again, yeah, you agree. If the team, I think it's key because you was used the Italian fly that got injured last week. If Smith doesn't play, I don't think they have a good.
Ellen. No.
Master Allen, if he's injured and if Smith doesn't play, that's a little bit worrying because that same pivot and playing like that's a big part of their game. So I want to see who's playing there when that comes out. But in saying that, the cap's too high. I think that's the wrong cap. I think it should be around 2 points or a pick-em game at least. But I like points here again. Quins is always points. Leicester better defense. They have got a better defense, but they're gonna give it a good go against Quins. Which if Quins have their weapons, points. I'm just looking at where it looks like it's going to be a lovely little balmy Sunday afternoon. So that's where I'm going to go. I won't get too involved in the point. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it sounds like a good game to watch. Let's let Neil bring the curtain down on the Gallagher Premiership for us.
Yeah, Brent, just before I start, I just want to know, has anyone ever seen the Oracle and Shark Brain in the same room? It seems like their opinions are quite...
Hey, listen, you might find a lawyer's letter from Shark Brain coming your way.
Tigers Quins on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, there goes my Sunday evening. I mean, cancel all plans right now. It's cracking fixture expected. I'm going to oppose the panel here. It's I'm all over this Leicester minus. I took minus 4.5. Cracking player, Walford Road, sold out. 24,000 people going to be there. The first time it's been sold out since 2018. So that's a massive thing. There's a big feel-good factor back in the Tigers. Marcus Smith was slugging down margaritas with his bird in Dubai, probably about we're talking about 96 hours ago. So yeah, he's fit and playing. He's starting. Esterhazen at 12, Marchand at 13. Their heads aren't going to be there. You can have all the backs in the world, but when you're coming to Tigerland with George Martin at 7, Marco van Staden at 6, this is a scary side to come against. You can have all the excitement in the backs, but you first got to win the set piece battle, and that Tigers Mall, they're going to be rolling the Quins all day. So I just can't see the Quins sticking up to this. So I'm hoping that the cold weather sets in England. I want some rolling malls. I want the crowd getting loud. I want the ref getting behind the Tigers because I'm all over this Tigers minus. This is a cracking play to end off a very profitable weekend on Sunday.
Right. Well, we're going to get, before we get into the best bets, gents, and we've got some games where we all agree, but we've also got some big split sort of views as well. Just a quick walk around. Has anybody got any fancies for the sevens? Chris, starting with you. Anything that stands out in the early games? I know Sean Nicholas says watch Ireland this weekend.
No, Casino for me. I follow the guys that know. Yeah, no, it's just I don't follow them.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Certainly with
I like to watch it, but Benneton is the death for me. No way.
I'm not into
it. I don't know the players, the matchups. I don't look at that. I like to watch it. So when Jordan comes up with a goodie, son of a punt, I'll follow, no problem. But not my bag.
Right, and Brendan, you say not yours.
Yeah.
You don't have anything.
I certainly I'll be following Rugger Bugger all the way. Be nice to see the Irish have a little bit of an improved game. I am going to have an outright bet. I'm going to back the Yanks at around 6-1ish, just for an interest. I think South Africa certainly look the team to beat. They're looking really good, but a little bit of an off day. USA, they haven't looked too bad, so that'll be my interest for the tournament.
Right, and Neil, let's finish with you. I know you play a little bit of sevens. Well, not play a bit of sevens, but bet a bit of sevens.
No, definitely. I definitely put a couple of rands down on the sevens. opening round, quite a strong fancy is Ireland on the plus. I think I got 5.5. I think 4.5 is still available, but much of the same. And then Kenya plus 10.5. I quite enjoy that as well. And those are two cracking plays to open us. And to be honest, I'm not a big outright punter, just because I'm more a top 4 punter in sort of the long terms. I just don't like my loot to be locked up for too long, especially when I'm putting down the units I do on an average weekend. But I can't see past. I haven't looked at the outright odds, but I just can't see past another Blitzbokker win here. They're just an absolutely formidable unit, just coached supremely well. Just such a disciplined side. They love to. I'm always cautious to take them on the minors. But just what I've realized is that just their defense is absolutely phenomenal. They just don't concede too many tries. So they're one of those sides that don't have to score too many points to cover those minuses. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you do looking to take on the Blitzbokker this weekend. I think that they could be up for a back-to-back here.
Right,
And Neil, is that the Kenya? Sorry, is that Kenya plus Australia against Australia?
Yes, yeah,
Neil?
that's the one. Yeah,
and then Ireland against Great Britain.
Yeah, those are the
okay, cool. Okay, cool.
And I just had a quick look at Sunbet. I see the Blitzbokker around 0.67 to 1 there. So they are short, but I have to agree with you, Neil, from what you said. It's difficult to oppose them. Although, funny, Brendan, I watched the USA last week, and they were the team that sort of impressed a bit. Not so much against the Blitzbokker, but I believe I also saw somewhere Blitzbokker maybe without 1 or 2 players. So perhaps the USA are going to be the value their team to challenge them. But gents, let's move on to the best bets of the weekend. And Brendan, we'll start with you.
Best bet of the weekend for me is Saracens, plus 1.5 or outright or whatever you can get. That's my best bet by a country mile. Second best bet is Newcastle on the plus 6.5. I think it's a cracker, absolute cracker. And then finally, I don't really want to tip this one because I've missed the price so badly with the Sharks. But yeah, I'll get the best outright I can, the Sharks, and probably include that in a couple of multis throughout the day. But Sarries, Newcastle, and the Sharks. Those are my 3.
Right, some nice confident picks there from Brendan. Let's go to Chris. Chris?
Yeah, I'll give a few. It's a good weekend. Definitely my most confident is Bath plus 10. I don't have Lions plus 12. I know I'm not going to get it, but if anyone's listening, Sol Granny's put Granny's pension on it. Plus 12 is wrong. Sorry, Henrik. That's not right. Those are my 2 confidence if that's what you can get. My next would be Leinster overs and Harlequins Leicester overs would be my next best. And those 4 bets at the moment on my top. So my top definitely Bath plus. What's the other one? Bath and Lions plus. Leinster overs and Leicester Harlequins overs definitely are my top 4 bets this weekend.
Right, Shark Brain saying good night, guys. Let's make some money this weekend, and let's see what Neil's going to give us as his best bets.
Yeah, on the URC, sticking to the locals, both sides on the plus, but Sharks now as favourites, still take them at 7 to 10 or slightly above. Absolutely cracking play. Bulls won't be up for this game at all. And then just looking at the Premiership, Sarries to win. Yeah, that's a goodie. Newcastle plus 6.5 cracker. Warriors plus 2.5 gift. Bath plus 10.5 cracker, and then Tigers plus minus 4.5. Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made this weekend. There's some confident picks from my side.
Excellent. Yeah, I can see why you got hold of me just before the show, Neil. Nice confident picks from you there. You can see you excited for the weekend. And with your exam out the way, you can focus on your punting now this weekend.
No, definitely the brain will have to get put to better use to play with these statistics rather than the other ones.
Excellent. Well, guys, thanks very much. Thanks to all the boys who joined us in the live chat tonight. And then thanks to Neil, Chris, and Brendan, lads. We'll see you soon. Thanks a lot, and see you next week for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters.